The number one issue that is absolutely negating the education that you are giving your child at a Montessori school, and that issue is you. You being unconscious, you being a mom who is still held back from your purpose, you being a mom who is struggling with your own childhood traumas, you being the one that is still stuck in generational trauma, you being the one that's still angry at your parents, you being the one that's fighting with your husband, you being the one that's fighting yourself. Look, I want to be very, very clear from a place of leadership for Montessori moms. I am a former Montessori mom. I did choose the Montessori lifestyle because I loved the philosophy. I had a horrible childhood experience with education. I am a free thinker. I want to live out of the box. I do live out of the box. And what I realized after having my children be in a Montessori school is number one, the philosophy is amazing. I loved the attention that my children got. I loved that they got something that was out of the structure of any other educational system other than like homeschooling, which I wasn't really didn't resonate with because I'm a career woman. The biggest issue with my children and the Montessori educational system was me. I was unconscious. Okay. And what does unconsciousness mean? Unconsciousness basically means that you are not owning your own stuff and you continue to make it all about somebody else. Like this is somebody else's fault. This is the educational system's fault. This is my husband's fault. This is my parents' fault. And you're not looking at yourself as the person who actually needs to do some improvement work. Okay? So if we have children who are going off to school and having this incredible education that Montessori schools absolutely give you, but they come home and they come home to a mom who is underfulfilled, undernourished, spiritually, and challenged. Maybe you are fighting in your marriage. Maybe you and your husband just can't, you don't love each other. You don't know how to love each other. And your children are seeing that. But let's just look at this, right? Because you chose that Montessori education because you wanted something different for your kids. But the truth is you're not giving them anything different. And here's why it boils down to this. You're going to continue to repeat the patterns that your parents imprinted on you. And you're going to repeat those patterns with your children until you learn how to break those patterns. That's consciousness. Okay. And no Montessori school is going to do that for them. So think about where you are in your life and then put your children in that space because that's what they will become. They will become exactly what you role model for them, both your dad, your husband, and you, truly, because it takes work to break generational patterns. And I know one of the biggest reasons, like the only reason for me choosing a Montessori education for my kids was because I wanted them to have the best. But when I realized that I was failing my children and that no educational system could change that, wow, it was a wake-up call for me. And I started to do the work. So I'm going to be sharing the exact work that I did to wake myself up and become an incredible role model for my children, a free thinker, a self-expressed woman, a powerful woman, a woman who lives her truth, a woman who knows how to love and to be loved, a woman who sees my children past my own pain, right? I'm going to say this to you. We can only see past our own pain. We can only see through our eyes the level of consciousness we have. So, what does that boil down to? It boils down to you subconsciously, unconsciously imprinting the belief systems that you carried from your parents onto your children, and then being a hypocrite because you're asking your children to do better. This doesn't work. It's highly unconscious and it's highly toxic parenting behavior. Yes, I'm going to say that out loud. It is highly toxic parenting behavior because you imprint who you be. And let's do a reality check right now. So zoom in on yourself. Are you in integrity with the person who you want to be? Have you lived up to the person who you want to be? Or do you feel like you're falling short? And that's a really simple question. When I asked myself this several years ago, when my children were Montessori students, I had to say no. I was living in an ego state. I was living in a panic state. And I was masquerading as a conscious woman. Why? Because my children went to Montessori school. I thought I was doing a really good job. And this isn't to say that you aren't doing a good job, but we're talking about getting deeper to the real true root of how to shift your life and become the most incredible woman, wife, and mother that you have ever been. And in order to do that, I need to ruffle your feathers. I need to wake you up to understanding that no school system, no matter how amazing it is, no teacher, no matter where they graduated college from, no model has more impact on a child than the model that you are giving them at home. Bottom line, it's time to wake up and it's time to take responsibility of who you be.